Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general reads. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you get the Wheel of Fortune, right? Nice. Okay, so usually a great card. One of the things that I will say to you though, because remember the Wheel of Fortune card is about chance, it's about luck, it's about the flow of universal energies, right? What goes up must come down, what comes down or is down has to go up. And the reminder with this card is that sometimes a detour, sometimes a delay is actually working in your favor, right? The other thing that this card very often suggests as well, be prepared or okay with taking a gamble, right? It doesn't have to be life ending or, that you put your house, your wife, the dog and the kids on the roulette table. It doesn't have to be that, but sometimes it is, whatever it is that you're trying to do is a little bit of a gamble, right? You're having to kind of just chuck it out there and say, okay, universe, you know what? I'm doing my bit. Show me what you got, right? What is there? What is the magic? So this week, I invite you to loosen the reins and let things be what they're going to be. If you are a continued subby, Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. So for your actions and options with the world at large over the course of this week, you get the King of Cups, right? So this is actually quite interesting because you've got the Wheel of Fortune here. And what this almost suggests to me is that this week you are prepared to do some sort of personal healing. There's something that you're personally addressing, right? So the King of Cups can very often be about emotional intelligence. It can also be about healers, therapists, counselors, etc. You've got this with the Wheel of Fortune, and I kind of feel like some of you have maybe caught onto something or latched onto something that you're ready to either rewrite or ready to do in a very different way. For some of you, this might be a creative endeavor, but for some of you this might be something more personal, right? And I kind of feel like the gamble here is, well, do I leave it, right, and just not worry about it, or do I launch in with it and do my absolute best with it and then go from there? It really is that. I think this is a week where being brave enough to delve into how you actually feel about something and be very honest and vocal about that might be the gamble that you're needing to take. When it comes to your communications and conversations, you've got the Wheel of Fortune, right? So you've got a double hit of this. So outside of this message, that's very lucky, right? Remember, the Wheel of Fortune is lucky, it's successful, it's a change in your luck. And very often people come to or have readings because, things are a little bit challenging or a little bit testy, or they're dealing with something that is, maybe a bit of a challenge to them. This suggests a change in your luck, a change in your fortune. It suggests that the wheel is now turning for you. When it comes to your communications and conversations this week, pay attention to what is being said. Pay attention to the conversations you're having, especially because it's the Wheel of Fortune, right? So it's got that cyclic energy, especially where conversations, words, where things are repeated, where you hear the same sentence said by, two people that you see in a day that don't even know each other. This is a week to pay attention to the synchronicities, pay attention to the slips, pay attention to, I was talking to, so-and-so this morning and they said this, and then, in the afternoon I'm talking to that person and they say the same thing in slightly different words, or you hear the same sentence. Pay attention to where the repetition comes up in the conversations this week, because there's likely to be some sort of magic there. When it comes to those of you that are working for somebody else as an employee, this might suggest that that is not going to be the case for much longer. For some of you, the opportunity for you to strike out on your own, to do something that you feel emotive about or that you feel matters to you, could really fast be coming. It also suggests that maybe, just maybe, for some of you, you are thrust into a position of leadership. Maybe a project is put on your hands. Maybe, I don't know, half your workforce doesn't turn up for the day, and so you have to just literally roll up your sleeves, get in the dirt, haul ass, and do everything that needs to be done. And everyone's like super impressed with what you managed to get done. This is one of those times where, at the time it's going to suck because you're going to be going ham, right? But pay attention, because sometimes the detour, the delay, sometimes the thing that feels really sucky at that moment is setting you up for something much bigger just round the corner. For those of you that are business owners, people that work for themselves, similar kind of energy, but this suggests almost, if I'm honest, because the words that I'm hearing are, this is like a client that just falls in your lap, right? Something or someone that just shows up and you're like, no, like this is too much of this is too good. It's like almost like a really big coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I never have. When I read the Celestine prophecy at age 15, blew my mind. And I was like, so much of this, right? Like, because it just confirmed to me that there's no such thing as coincidence. It's all synchronicity. So pay attention to that this week. For those of you that are retired or no longer working, this could be, for some of you, in fact, for all of you, this could be an opportunity for you to really discover how to step into flow and what that leads you on to next, right? If you haven't seen the Weekly General, please check it out. I talk a lot about this in that this week, and I really want to start breaking down this idea. I don't know where this narrative has come from, that we only have one purpose. Yeah, that's it. We're all basically just mugs and forks and knives, and once we've got a few knocks and scrapes, or we've found the purpose, we get discarded on the scrap heap of life. What a load of tosh. You're going to have multiple purposes in life. And for those of you that are retired and no longer working, this week you could discover what your next one is, right? You have multiple purposes in life. For your love and relations, you have the Six of Cups. You guys know what I'm going to say here, especially with the Wheel of Fortune in the house. Yeah, the I miss you text, the I love you text, the running into somebody completely by synchronicity, maybe going to a favorite spot of yours and you end up running into an ex, an old partner, an old flame, an old FWB. Right, like whatever it is, that there's the Six of Cups is a past card, right? It's always about the past, nostalgia. For some of you, you might have thoughts and lingering emotions this week about a partner or an ex or somebody, the one that got away. We've all got one. Some of us have several. I jest. I only have two people that I ever think about in that kind of respect. Outside of that, I don't bother. I'm all about forward progression, me. But jokes aside, this could very much be that. For those of you that are partnered or in long-term commitments, married, etc., slightly different energy, because the past is definitely coming up here, but this is about you getting back to the emotional honeymoon. Doesn't necessarily mean they're like, everything's happy and smiles. It's about finding that really deep connection with your partner that, marriages are built on, right? And you see this all the time, like the people that have been married for the longest, they're like best friends in the end, right? And it's like, you're having one of those days, aren't you? It's like, it's just this marvelous thing to behold when when you look at your grandparents and when you look at like friends that have been married for a really long time, like to watch two human beings really work out the best way to coexist together. It's such a beautiful thing because it becomes more than a marriage, more than a piece of paper, more than sharing assets. It's about a really deep bond and a connection, and seeing that is wonderful. And this pairing, I almost get the feeling that you're getting back to that sort of really deep emotional bond where you feel tight, where you feel close, and it's lovely. For your money and materials, you've got the Magician card. I mean, like, damn, you know, I'm gonna hit up every Taurus that I know this week for money, because you guys look to be caking it. This Magician card, when it comes to money, this is for whatever ideas you have, whatever business ideas you have, business ventures, new things, new endeavors that are coming in this week. Highly favored, highly favored. If you're thinking about any collaborations or connections, you have it, right? This is the week to chase them down. If it's got a contract involved, just be careful, because obviously Mercury is still retrograde, so is Venus at this point. But by the time we get to the very end of this week, on the 30th, Venus will be direct. By the time we get to the 3rd or I think it's the 4th or the 5th of February, actually. By the time we get to that point, Mercury will be direct. So it's almost over, right? We've run and won the gauntlet at this point. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this suggests that there's a lot of energy, right? So for some of you this week, you might find it hard to sleep because you feel wired. Wouldn't surprise me, especially with double hit of the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. It's a lot of energy. And then when it comes to your home and environment, the Magician card, especially because you've got this Wheel of Fortune energy in the background, there's something that you're trying to manifest or change about the home. And this week is a good week for you to start thinking about practical ways that you can make that happen. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.